Star Trek has a new Guinan, and she's a Starfleet commander. In the ever-evolving universe of Star Trek, few characters have captured the mysterious and magnetic energy of Guinan, the enigmatic bartender of 10-4 portrayed by Whoopi Goldberg. Her quiet wisdom, deeply empathetic insight, and powerful presence made her one of the franchise's most memorable recurring characters. But now, in a bold and intriguing twist, Star Trek has introduced a new Guinan-like figure, and this time, she wears a Starfleet uniform. The galaxy has changed, and so has the role of its quiet guardians. This new character isn't tending bar, she's commanding respect on the bridge. Introducing Commander Coral, the new listener of the stars. Appearing in Star Trek, Strange New Worlds Season 3, Commander Coral has already sparked comparisons to Guinan, and not without reason. Like Guinan, she seems to exist outside the usual rules of time and perception. But unlike the Elorian observer, who served drinks and advice aboard the Enterprise D, Coral is a high-ranking Starfleet officer, an unconventional empath with a tactical mind and a past she rarely speaks of. Coral is not an Elorian. In fact, her origins remain ambiguous, perhaps intentionally so. Hailing from a sector the Federation once labeled unknowable, she has been described as someone who listens to time rather than sees it. That description alone evokes Guinan's eerie temporal awareness, especially her ability to sense changes in the timeline that others couldn't. But Coral brings that same intuitive perception to strategic decision-making, earning her the nickname the Compass among her crew. Wisdom in uniform. What makes this character so compelling is the contrast between her intuitive, almost mystical presence and her clear role in a rigid command structure. Coral doesn't wear flowing robes or speak in riddles. She delivers mission briefings, challenges captains, and engages in away missions. Still, everything she says is laced with depth. Her eyes seem to know more than she lets on. She can de-escalate a Klingon standoff with a single sentence or dismantle a flawed plan by posing a single, thought-provoking question. That's where she echoes Guinan most clearly, by seeing beyond what others are saying or doing, straight into what they're feeling. She also has a past with time travel, hinted at in a cryptic conversation with LT. Spock in episode 2 of season 3. Time isn't a line, she said. It's an echo chamber. And I've heard its songs before. Whether that's poetic metaphor or literal truth remains unknown, but it's exactly the kind of cryptic insight Guinan was known for delivering at just the right moment. Not a replacement, but an evolution. Fans may be tempted to think of Coral as the new Guinan, but her character feels more like an evolution than a replacement. Guinan thrived in a non-Starfleet role. She was an outside observer who spoke truth to power. Coral, on the other hand, is part of the power structure. She wears the uniform. She gives orders. Yet, she carries with her the same aura of knowing, of quiet depth, that made Guinan a spiritual advisor to even the most rational officers like Picard. Their roles are mirrors of their times. Guinan arrived in an era of diplomacy and moral challenges. Coral enters during an age of chaos, time anomalies, alternate universes, and existential threats from beyond known space. It makes sense that her wisdom comes with rank and readiness. In a darker galaxy, insight must be ready for battle. A new kind of counselor. While Star Trek has always featured ship counselors, from Deanna Troi to Dr. Culber, Coral is something different. She's not about mental health in the traditional sense. She's about direction. She guides through insight, not analysis. She senses when a mission is about to go wrong not because of tactical flaws, but because the energy of the crew is misaligned. Her ability to read people is less scientific and more spiritual, echoing Guinan's mysterious sixth sense. Coral even transforms the way Starfleet views leadership. In episode 4, she advises Captain Pike, not with tactical suggestions, but with a story, one that seemingly makes no sense until the final moment of the episode when her cryptic lesson saves lives. She doesn't manipulate or control. She plants seeds of thought and lets others discover the answers themselves. That, too, is classic Guinan. Legacy and possibility. It's not yet known how far Strange New Worlds will go with Coral's backstory. There are whispers that she's been part of multiple timelines. A few fans even speculate she might be a descendant, or variant, of the Elorian race, sent into Starfleet to serve a new purpose. While that's purely speculative, it's a sign of how quickly she's captured attention. In the end, Star Trek's introduction of a new Guinan doesn't diminish the legacy of the original. Instead, It honors it by showing that wisdom, empathy, and